So prior to entering treatment, I would consider myself to be kind of a daily blackout drinker. At the end of my drinking, I was in a situation where I lived completely alone. So I lived alone and drank alone. And I would say that, I didn't necessarily lose a lot of things monetarily. I stayed out of treatment for a long time because I was able to pay my bills and work. I would say that the bottom that I experienced was more of an emotional and spiritual bottom. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I really truly hated myself before I went to treatment. So about 3 months before I went into the river source, I had experienced what most people would consider to be a rock bottom. It was a pretty horrible experience that I went through. And I had kind of started doing some programming, and I lasted about 30 days and then picked back up again. And after coming out of like a 6-day bender that time, I remember coming out of that and something just kind of clicked, like this is what they said would happen to me, and all of the things that I haven't lost yet, I'm gonna lose if I don't do something. And so I just started making some phone calls. At that time, I was convinced that if I just could get into an IOP that I could be okay. And whoever I spoke to on the phone convinced me to come into the river source, to come into detox. And so before I knew it, they were sending someone to my house and pick me up to go to treatment. So when I first got to treatment, I was not a model patient. I had been in treatment programs before, so I was very convinced when I got there that there was nothing that they could teach me that I didn't already know. And I found myself trying to manipulate and control what my treatment looked like, because I thought I knew what was best for me. And there was a situation where I was trying to get my way with something, and the staff was not letting me get my way. And I was very angry and I was very upset and kept trying to kind of manipulate the situation to get what I wanted. and all of a sudden I had a moment where I was like, you're trying to control things, you're trying to manipulate, you think you know something, and maybe for once in your life you should just sit down and listen. And after that kind of transformed my experience there, where I became a little bit more willing to take some suggestions. I would say, one of the things that I gained from treatment was the word willingness was kind of hammered into my head. And I had realized that the real work didn't really start for me until I left the treatment center. And what was I going to do with the information that I was being given? Most of the other times I went into treatment, I could be that model patient where I could spit back everything that you wanted to hear, or I thought that you wanted to hear. And then when I would leave treatment, I wouldn't do anything with it. And I always ended up getting loaded again. And so I came to the realization that once I got out of there, I had to really change the way that I was living my life and get involved in my own recovery. When I got out of treatment, I mostly stayed in program out of fear, because I was afraid. I was afraid that if I started to do things my way, that I was going to go back out. And so I made a decision that I was just going to show up no matter what, no matter how I was feeling or all of those things, because I'm my own worst enemy when it comes to that. And the longer that I stayed and was consistent in taking suggestions and doing the work, I started to put together 60 days. I had never done that before. And then 90 days. I had never done that before. And then all of a sudden I realized that it was working, doing the work and following the suggestions and getting involved. It was working. So I remember feeling like I have finally figured it out. It took me years to figure out that my way doesn't work. So Significantly different. So I have a much better relationship with my parents today, and my family members. I was very isolated in my drinking, and I was just off doing my own thing. I kind of just checked off all the boxes, and I am able to be present with my family today. And additionally, you know, through the fellowship and things like that, I have a multitude of friends. I'm very involved, and my life kind of centers around that. I know I can't have anything else unless I'm sober, and I'm working a program, and have been able to get in a relationship and get engaged. I'm getting married soon. It's kind of crazy. I never thought that would be possible for me, but you know, I have a real deep recognition that if I don't do the things for my program first, I don't have any of those other things. So I just keep coming back. I would say, you know, for me, when I made the decision to get help, I had to kind of set aside everything that I thought I knew. I thought I knew something about life and how to live it. And once I was able to kind of make that decision of like, I don't really know what I'm doing. It's possible that these people do. Maybe I should just give it a try. I remember hearing one time that, you know, I was gonna try this just to prove that it didn't work, and that person had like 4 or 5 years sober. So I made like being able to say like, I don't know what's best for me, and maybe these people do, has definitely like transformed my life, because I truly didn't think that it was possible for me to change. Like I thought that I'm just like this and there's nothing that can change me. And you know, the way I live my life is so different than before I got sober. So, you know, just keep an open mind and give yourself a shot. My name is Natalie. I'm a RiverSource alumni, class of 2021.